Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel where we talk about all things mental and emotional health related in our everyday lives. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a thing. I was recently watching a video by Kandee Johnson, and Kandee is somebody that I have always looked up to and respected so much, and one of my biggest inspirations for starting my channel. She has been through some real tough stuff, and yet she just gets on with it, and she has such great messages of hope and encouragement and positivity moving forward and getting on with your life. And it's incredible to see. Every time I watch her video, I feel uplifted and better about my own life. She is just the nicest person, and I'm gutted that I live all the way over here in England and I can't go and give her a hug. That is one of my biggest regrets in life. Recently, she made a video explaining why she hasn't been on YouTube lately and why she's had a little gap in her videos. And this is something that I think we see from a lot of YouTubers, where they take a break or something happens in their life that they're just not coping with and they don't feel that they can put out content, especially acting as though they're just happy and everything's fine when it really isn't. The rest of their lives are falling apart. And that's completely understandable. We all get like that sometimes, particularly when we fall into things like depression and anxiety and any kind of disorder that just makes us not ourselves. I definitely know how that feels. And it opened up for me this huge question of when we do that in our everyday lives with the people that are close to us. Essentially, the way I see it, our YouTube community and our friends and family in our everyday lives kind of need to be treated the same, in the respect that if we don't talk to them for a little while, or there's something that we've been keeping from them, we feel that we need to tell them that, or we feel that we need to justify that absence in some way. And it creates this very awkward cycle of, I want to talk to you, but I don't want to tell you all of this stuff that's going on in my life because I just can't even cope with it myself, let alone bring myself to talk to somebody else about it. But at the same time, I'm terrified of not talking to you because I don't want to lose you as a friend or as somebody who is in my life because you mean the world to me. I touched upon this a little bit in the mental health tag video that I did recently, and I can link that down below so you can watch it. But this idea of needing to take a break, needing to take a step back in your life sometimes. And it's something that we all need to do, and it's perfectly normal. But through doing it myself, I've become fascinated with this idea. And I'm definitely going to delve into the topic more, and I'll do some future videos on the psychology of why we don't want to open up in these situations, why we feel we need to keep it to ourselves, and why we don't want to share our negative feelings with others. I think when we don't talk to people for a while, or we take a step back, we know that they're going to be feeling pushed away, or that we don't care about them as much as we actually do, or that we're giving up on them in some way. And of course, that's the last thing we want to do. And yet when we feel that low, maybe when we are depressed or we're just going through a really hard time in our lives, we can't begin to deal with our own feelings, let alone combat somebody else's negative feelings as well. And so it just makes us push that situation even further away, distance ourselves even more, and perpetuate this evil, toxic cycle. When we do start to move on and we do start to feel better, all of a sudden we realize how much we've missed those people in our lives, and we don't want to lose them. And so we feel like they need an explanation. They need something to justify our ridiculous absence and why we've just sort of given up on them for however long it might have been. And the truth is, it's nothing to do with them and everything to do with us. When that does happen on YouTube, you often see people saying, I'm so sorry, and apologizing a million times throughout their video when they come back, because the guilt that has led them to, of feeling like they've let their audience down, or feeling like they've let their friend down or their family member down. There's a need there to let that person know that you didn't mean to hurt them, you didn't mean to let them down in any way, and you do actually care about them more than they can imagine and need them in your life to help you get through these things. And you're so sorry that you've pushed them away. But I want to encourage you, if you're doing that, if you've done that in the past, any YouTuber who's done that, It is completely normal. It's a normal thing that we all do all of the time, not just on a platform or a social network like YouTube or Facebook or whatever it might be, but also just in our day-to-day lives with the people who are closest to us. Sometimes we just can't open up. For whatever reason, maybe our emotional or mental health is simply preventing us from doing that at the time. And we can't be too hard on ourselves when that happens. It's a force of nature. It's just something that happens in life, and we need to let ourselves off the hook for it. All of that said, what can you do when you find yourself in that situation where you have distanced yourself and where you do want to come back? I know some people will just give up on the relationship and say, well, it's too hard to come back from that. I've treated them appallingly and I don't want to face up to that guilt. I don't know how to apologize enough or how to make things right, so I'm just going to let that relationship go. And I think that's a huge shame, because people are more understanding than sometimes we give them credit for. And they probably want you in their life just as much as you still want them in yours. So give them that chance. Be as authentic as you can. I encourage you in these situations to apologize to that person, not because you couldn't speak to them or you feel that you have to justify yourself, but just because you want to be there for them. And it's a nice way of building bridges. It's a nice way of saying, I do care. I'm sorry for what I've put you through. Even if it's not necessarily your fault, you just want to let them know that you want to connect again and you want to make things right. Tell them what they mean to you in a genuine, down-to-earth way, that you need them in your life, that their comments, their messages, the things that they've been saying to you that have helped you through that time, even if you couldn't respond in the moment, have meant something to you all the way along. I truly believe that if you can tell people how you feel in a heartfelt way from your very core and from your very soul, with the right people, it's never too late to make amends, even if you don't see how that would be possible at the time. Trust in those people to understand your situation. Heck, tell them to watch this video if they don't understand, so that they can see that this is a normal thing that people do and it's nothing to do with them. You're not trying to push them away. It's nothing personal. It's just something that happens when we get down. The second thing would be to open up to them as much as you can, or as much as you feel comfortable with doing, about what's been happening in the situation. Now, with this one, of course, nobody has any right to know any more than you want them to know about a situation. But from my experience, sometimes it really helps to talk things through with somebody different, to get a different perspective and to see that they probably can relate to you more than you might imagine that they ever could have. And then the third thing I would say is encourage them about your intentions for an ongoing relationship with that person, whether that be a community on social media, whether that be your best friend or your mum and dad. Just let them know that it's not something that you want to let go of. It's not something that you want to break down. And in the future, you intend to have a happy relationship and build that back up. You can't promise that this sort of thing will never happen again, because you don't know when something might hit and things might go wrong again. And even if you're feeling positive in the moment, it doesn't mean that the rest of your life is going to be like this. You might need to take another break, but overall, you still love those people. You still care about those people. And in general, you want them to be there. You want them to be part of your life. Let them know that. Let them know that your intention in your heart is to keep them around. And sometimes you might not act like that. Sometimes you might treat them badly because of something that's going on in your own mind. But at your core, you want them there. You need them there. And they mean everything to you. Don't let that go lightly, because honestly, life is too short for that. We need those people. It's not every day that we meet people that make us feel great, or who are kind and caring and all of the things that we're actually looking for in the people in our lives. Hold on to those people, because they may be the very people who get you back on track ultimately from this horrible thing that you've been going through. The cold, hard truth about toxic emotional and mental health is that it can completely isolate us if we let it, and that can lead to more and more problems down the road in the future if we don't take control of it as soon as we can. I want to encourage you today to look after yourself, be kind to yourself, and whatever you do, don't let bad times make you lose good people. Give this video a thumbs up if you've ever experienced anything like this yourself, and I'll be doing another video in the future about how you can manage it if you're on the other side of it and it's a friend or family member who's pushing you away. And let me know in the comments below how you feel when you see a friend or family member or even YouTuber explaining themselves after an absence. What does that make you feel inside? Do you feel pity for them? Do you feel understanding? Can you relate? Let me know. I'd be really interested to join the discussion about this topic. If you know somebody else who might benefit from what I've said in this video, please share it with them if they're going through a hard time and you feel like they might be pushing you away. I want people to know that this is normal and it's absolutely understandable, and you're certainly not alone in it. I'll also link Kandee's video in the description below if you want to see the whole thing. She's an amazing woman and I highly recommend subscribing to her because she will make you feel like $1 million every day. Thanks for watching everyone, and enjoy your day as though it were a song that summed up exactly how you're feeling. Lots of love, take care of yourselves everyone, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye! And it opened up this huge... we just can't even begin to cope with how to... They deserve some kind of... They feel like they really... what am I trying to say? This really... I'll also link Kandee's video in the description below, and... I'll also link Kandee's video in the description below if you want to see... God's sake.
Oh, you are a shoppy doggy. Do you love Fern?